And now we can go live on both of those. All right, nice. Let's close this bad boy down. I hear myself twice. All right, nice. Let's do it. Okay. Is the switch still on? It is. I'm just going to turn the switch off so it's not draining battery and resources. Okay, so I might need some assistance here on where the hell I am and where the hell I need to go. So if anybody can provide that, feel free to do so. So let's see what the crack is. Let me get my controller. So this would have been from when I played years ago. And I don't remember my full range of abilities either. So we got jump, strike. Whoa, look at that. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait, no. Ah, it's not what I was... Oh, God. I'm just a little boy. I don't know what's going on here. I'm new around here. I don't know what to do. I'm new around these parts. Oh, Jesus. What's the heal button again? Oh, God. I've forgotten all the buttons. I've forgotten all the buttons. I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. What's the buttons? What's the heal button? Oh, God, no. That's not what I was trying to do. Am I at the end of the game? That's what I'm confused about. I don't remember. Wait, I am. Looks like you already finished the game. Did I finish the game? One of the endings. What do you mean one of the endings? Hold on. We need to rewind. Is there a video that explains the game? The full ending requires a little more work. Oh, God. There's more since you're on 42%. Well, I just didn't know whether that percentage was based on, like... based on, like, having not bought all the charms and stuff like that. Maybe I did finish this then. Maybe I did finish it before. I've just forgotten. How did I even do that dash before? Oh, it was that one. Oh, I feel silly for making today's stream about Hollow Knight now if I've already finished it before. I mean, clearly I've forgotten, but still. I almost want to move to my Switch save. Shall I just do that? I'm almost tempted to move to my Switch save because I kind of think I should. Because at least on the Switch save, I have a slightly more recent memory. Let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, God. That's funny. All right. It's not going to look as nice, just as a fair warning, because obviously it's on the Switch versus the PC, but we'll take it. Right, let me fire up OBS. And then I just press that button there. I need to press switch to, drag this bad boy up to here. And then the Switch should be powering on, but it doesn't appear to be. There we go, got it. Oh my gosh. Preview scaling, full screen projection. Bam. Okay, cool, got that. We should be good. All right, here we are. I mean, it doesn't look worlds apart, does it? Okay. So, for context, this is my current progression on this save. Significantly less locations unlocked. So, what do? What do? I'm trying to think of what to do or where to go. If you were at this point in the game, where do you reckon I would go to? Let's see what abilities I've got. So I've got regular strike on Y. I've got nothing on A or X. I've got dash on here. Oh, when I hold left bumper, I get the map. And then that's that. Soul Sanctum in the city, maybe. Okay, we can head there, I suppose. You have wall climb too, do I? Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Do I have wall climb? Oh, I've got like, yeah, wall slide. Okay, sure. Does feel a little bit desynced though. Like it looks a little bit choppy and framey to me. It might not look so bad to you guys, but yeah. Okay, let's look at the map then. So if I go inside of here, I feel like there were quite a few ways that I couldn't actually explore. Like I couldn't actually move anywhere. Switch has some input lag, I think. Well, I think it's a mixture of input lag and then also visual lag from here as well. I can't believe I've actually finished Hollow Knight and I forgot about it. So where were you saying that you wanted me to go? Did you say in the city I want to go to something? Do I have a fast travel to the city, I wonder? Where am I currently? Is there a train in Dirtmouth or no? I don't think you ever got the true ending though. No, definitely not. I feel like I want to play from here only because I've just done this very recently. Like within the last month or two. So I at least somewhat remember what I've done around here. So where are we going here, chat? What should I do? I think I go up to Dirtmouth and see if I can fast travel to the city, I think, maybe. Let's try that. So where is the train here? Forgetting that you've beaten a game feels on par for you for some reason. Yeah, just can't keep track of it all, man. Is the train down this way, or am I mistaken? I think it might be down there. It is here. Okay, cool. Feel free to backseat game me until I tell you not to, chat, just to get me to where I need to go. Oh, he's here. Hey, fella. Let's have a look. Travel. Okay, so we're going to... What is it? Somebody said I don't have Green Path, or I don't have the map for Green Path. Should I go grab that? I don't think I actually have a map for the city, do I? When do you recommend I go? Head to Green Path. Cool, let's go. Ooh, gosh. Alright, here I am. Right, so what abilities have I got? I've got Slash. I somehow did a crazy ability then. I don't know what I did to launch that. Yeah, so I just straight up have like no map here. Is there somebody that I buy it from? Like in this area or no? Oh, whoa, I forgot he explodes afterwards. Oh, that is... How deceiving is that? That looked like another area. What's with the lights? Oh, the light's from me. God, but it really looked like it was going to take me into another area then. There's a guy somewhere to the east. Okay, well, let's travel east then. Oh, shit. Sort of stopped by chance there. Whoop. Let's go find the map salesman. See what we can do. Nice. Ah, balls. And then what's the recovery button? It's A. Okay, cool. Recovery on A, slash on Y, dash on that. Oh, and then right trigger. Sorry, right bumper is pew pew. Big explodey. Oh, Jesus. That caught me off guard. Cool. Let's have a look. You'll hear humming when you get close. Okay. Oh my god. I honestly thought I was going to fall into so many spikes then. Let's keep going east. I mean, I probably could keep going east from the room I was just in. Hold on. I got it. So how many people in chat have actually completed Hollow Knight before? I'm intrigued. bet it's loads of you. You've done all the achievements, Jesus. I would definitely like to pick up Silksong when it comes out. I mean, it's going to be on Game Pass, and I've got Game Pass Ultimate as part of my like mobile phone contract now, so don't see why I wouldn't. Oh, I can walk through here. Oh, jeez, hold on. Oh, fucking hell. That's going to be the input lag might be... The input lag might be an issue. Oh, to be honest, I just dropped straight up at the wrong time there. Okay, got it. What's that? Thorns of Agony. What the hell is that? Senses the pain of its bearer and lashes out at the world around them. When taking damage, sprout thorny vines that take that damage nearby foes. Oh, okay. It's just like Minecraft. They copied Minecraft with thorns. Have I explored everything this way, by the way? Or is there more to be had? Nah, looks pretty dead-endy. Alright, there we go. What console is this on? This is on Switch. Switch 2. But I feel like I have this issue with visual lag and everything regardless of platform. Like, oh, balls. Like, even if I was on, like, an Xbox and stuff, it'll probably still be the same. Didn't see him coming. Didn't see him coming. Shit. What? How far back? You're out of your mind. Martin should check the shop. Which shop? The shop in town? Well, I've got nothing on me now. I have to get my money back. There's no point in me checking the shop in the city because I've not got any money. Unless I just decide to. Yeah, we'll check the shop, then we'll go retrieve the shade, and then we'll carry on. Which one's the map shop? This one? Oh, there's literally a map for 80. That is cheap as anything. Bloody hell. Alright, well, let's go to Green Path. We'll sit on the bench, and then we'll go do that. Oh, jeez. Is this a roguelite? Yeah, it is, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the definition of it, isn't it? Yeah. Because you're not reset back to the start of the whole game. But you have that kind of continuation. Mixed in with the Metroidvania as well. I don't think he ever retrieved his shade from the black egg. Oh, no, sorry. So this is a different save. Yeah, this is a different save. So does it show me on the map where my... Oh, it does. It does show me where it is. Okay, cool. What's a Metroidvania? So basically, a Metroidvania is a game, or a genre really, that spawned back in the old days from the games Castlevania and Metroid. Because both games worked on these kind of like limited screen and kind of... It's not. I guess it's not side-scrolling because there is a verticality to it. But if you ever play either of those kinds of games, you'll recognize the world shape and the world flow, I suppose. Of what a Metroidvania is. It's not roguelite, is it not? Oh, I suppose actually a roguelite is you do start the run again, but you have some stuff when you go back in, right? I went up there last time as well. I can't help but go up there. I think it was actually not far for you. You bugger again. There it is. Oh, bloody hell. Right, let's go grab this bloody map. And I can get out of here. I'm assuming I just go back where I came from. I should be grand. I mean, do I even need this map for my progression at the minute? Will I just be getting it just so I have the map for future use? Don't really need it, yeah. I'll grab it anyway, just so at least it's done, you know what I mean? Heal up. Nice. Ah, balls the timing up there. Oop. Oh, it's so laggy. I think the lag is genuinely just Elgato, because whenever I play this on my TV downstairs, smooth as anything. Super smooth. But I don't know whether it's a... Like, I don't know if it's an Elgato issue, if it's my PC issue, or whether there's just something wrong with the two interfacing with one another. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be on all platforms. It is. It is. It's coming to Game Pass, which I'm thankful for.
Bafanada.
Bafanada. Nice. Good. What else we got? Don't think I really need any of those, do I? Alright, let's look at my map then. So now I've got green path. Where to next? Where would I go? Like, if this is what your map looks like currently, what's the next situation? Do I just go and explore parts of green path that I haven't currently? Is that what I do? Like, do I go from, like, say, Stone Sanctuary and go, like, southwest through it? The thing is sometimes I haven't explored those areas because I simply don't have the ability to break a wall or whatever else. So it's hard to know sometimes. Can you zoom in on the City of Tears? I can. That's what I've got currently for the City of Tears. City of Tears it is then. Nice. So what's my closest train to there? How would I get there the quickest currently? Or should I just go on foot? Probably the Queen's Station. Okay, wait, hold on. We'll try that. I recommend buying pins and using them to mark where you can't actually go. Okay. The pins were in the shop, weren't they? Bafanada.
Bafanada.
Oh, wait, are they just individual markers? So you just buy any of them? Cocoon pin. Have you seen those beautiful blue cocoons? I made these pins so you can keep track of them. You can buy like a pack of... Oh, you buy like a pack of 6 of them. Let's go for the little golden ones. Why not? Token marker. Let's have a look. Show pins. Oh, I see. Oh, right. Okay, cool. Ah, sweet. Okay, cool. Right, let's get to the train station then. Oh, bollocks. I do that every time, dude. Down we are. Queen Station. Off we trot. Don't feel pressured to finish the game before Silksong. Well, apparently, I've already finished it. Apparently, I finished it years ago. I just simply forgot about it. Or at least one of the endings, at the very least. So, yeah. Right. So, Queen Station sets us here. Oof, that is a trek. Alright. Might as well just go for it. Oh, it did not register my jump input there. That's my worry here, is I feel like I'm going to not enjoy this as much as I have been when playing in handheld and on regular TV because of this liggy-laggy Elgato stuff. Ooh. Guess I'm just going to try heading just straight east, yeah? Yeah, that'll do. Ooh. Keep going, keep going, keep going. See, I mean, I'm pressing jump on these edges, but it's just not having it. Don't think I go there, do I? No, I need to make one. Oh, actually, no, I'll go up. I wish this had like cross save, so I could take my save from here and just move it over to the PC. That'd be nice. back that way. Not today. If you feel as if redoing the game is too much, the additional content for different endings is worthwhile. If you need guidance, look up how to get to the White Palace. I'm okay. I think it's probably better for me to remember some of this earlier stuff. Where am I now? Straight through, I suppose? Is that right? There's a bench up there. So should I try and go to the bench? Just save myself a little bit of stress. Can I get to the bench for that? Really? Come on, bro. Pop to the bench real quick. Yeah, nice. Oh my god. No, I tried to save myself, didn't work. Whoops. Boop boop. Nice. How we looking? Am I going the right way? Is that just going to be a dead end? Am I just going to hit a wall there? Am I actually going the wrong way? Or can you actually go through some kind of gate there? Do you see what I mean? I'm on about just here. Can I actually get through that? God, I hope I can. The path below a bit. Hold on. The path below. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, I see. I see. It's a down and then left. Okay, cool. Down this way. Oh, I landed on a ledge. I thought there wasn't going to be a ledge there. Bloody hell. No. Oh, it was the roof was too low. Bloody hell. Oh, I'm so annoyed. Oh. Jesus. Oh my god. Everything's terrifying me. Can I? No, I can't hit that back. Oh, I really thought I could hit that back. I tried hitting it, send it back. Fucking hell. Oh, dude, you know what? I don't know if I can deal with this lag. This choppy frame rate. It makes me feel so sick, like so claustrophobic. And then where there's like the input lag as a result of that, I think it's just going to make me hate myself. Oof. Look at it. It goes down to like 12 FPS and I don't know why. This is on Switch 2, just to clarify. I mean, I don't know if there's some kind of like patch you have to get for Switch 2. I don't think there is. But I think I also have this issue when it comes to like Elgato in general anyway. So I don't think it's exclusive to this game or anything. Can you break that? Can? Fuck. Oh shit, oh shit. Fucking knew it. Fuck. Oh, this is the worst, man. Just get me out of here. I'm gonna die. I'm so gonna die. Where am I right now? I'm in the right spot. I'm in the right spot. I'm gonna die. Go on PC and speedrun the early game. I don't know. What do you reckon, chat? Forgot about that little hibbity hop there. Oh, brother. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do that because it's the frame rate's too much. I'm just not enjoying it. I'm spending half my time trying to like counteract. It's not that different on PC. Oh, it absolutely is. 100% different. The frame rate's like smoother. One, it looks nicer as well, but it honestly, let's do that. Sod it. Let's go for it. Let's go for a game from the start. Why not? How many hours do you have on the save file? On that one, I think I had about 4.5 or something like that. On this one, I think I've got like 13. It looks like I've actually defeated Hollow Knight. I'm inside the black egg, apparently. Let's just go for a new game. Sod it. Yeah, that's the edge. We'll leave the brightness as is. Let's go. So yeah, who wants to explain the lore to me? Like, feel free to explain the lore outside of what I'm seeing here. Or is there like a good video that explains the lore? And also, do we know if Silk Song is prequel, sequel? Like, what's the situation there? Watch Mossbag. Mossbag. Hold on a minute. What's Mossbag? Is that a YouTuber? There is the Mossbag video, everyone's saying. Okay, let's have a look. The mostly complete lore of Hollow Knight. Sure. Shall I have that on? Hold on. Shall I have it on in the background whilst playing? Should we do that? Wait. Spoilers in it? Yeah, I don't mind spoilers.
If you were to ask me, what is your favorite video game ever made? I would have to say Cory in the House for the Nintendo DS. But Hollow Knight would be a close second.
Nice.
Hollow Knight was released on February 24th, 2017 by Team Cherry, an indie game studio based in the mythical land of Adelaide, South Australia. Over the past 3 years, Hollow Knight has become an indie darling. The game has sold over 3.5 million copies. It was the opening game at ADGQ 2019. There's a Hollow Knight book, a line of plushies, t-shirts, nicotine patches, nuclear warheads, and even vinyl records for all you goddamn hipsters.
I love that vinyl
Team
records
Cherry
came
had one
after
goal
everything
when making
else.
Hollow Knight. They wanted to create a world that allowed players to get completely lost in exploration. We can see this desire in Hollow Knight's design. The levels in Hollow Knight are massive, with secrets and rewards hidden in every nook and cranny. Be that powerful charms, special abilities, or the game's
so
navigation
much smoother,
system
dude. It's
requires the
unreal.
player to work for their map, forcing them to make a stronger mental image of the world in their head. Christopher Larkin's score and Ari Gibson's artwork lend to this as well, creating an atmosphere that the player won't want to leave. But there's one aspect of Hollow Knight that keeps people like me coming back: the world building.
Oh, do I need to kill something here?
When Super Metroid launched in 1994, it stood out for its amazing sense of immersion. Now in 1994, I was busy not being alive, but I've watched enough YouTube video essays to know that this game was a big deal. In case you didn't know, Super Metroid is basically the granddaddy of all Metroidvanias. That's why they're called Metroidvanias. Now in Super Metroid, there are moments that give the player a sense of depth. Basically, the feeling that this world exists
I feel like we almost need to,
outside
like,
of Samus's interactions with it.
Hold on, wait.
In the room right before that diabetic crocodile thing,
There we
Samus
go.
can find the corpse of a random soldier.
Twitch.tv.
His inclusion here doesn't change the gameplay at all, but instead gives the player a sense of wonder.
I'm going to put
about
like
the world they are
a thing at the
exploring.
top.
Who was
where
this
is it?
guy? Why was he here in the first place? Did he
We're
like
listening
jazz?
to this video.
Now, finding dead bodies and other random garbage is pretty cool, right? Well, Hollow Knight basically does the same thing.
There we go. I'm going to change the
about
stream
a
title
dozen
to
times. Through its world building, Hollow Knight
Oh, no,
turns
it's fine.
Hallownest into a living kingdom. You can sense the ancient history of the land when you look at dilapidated structures or giant barred doors. Nothing feels like it was put into the game randomly. There's a reason for it all. Except those reasons aren't the easiest to uncover. Hollow Knight's narrative is buried under layers of NPC dialogue, item descriptions, lore tablets, and even additional content like the Quarrel comic
This will be good to know.
and Fan Gamers
It might not even be
Wanderer's
applicable
Journal.
to Silk Song, but in
These
general,
past
I've
3
always
years
been
have seen an
interested
insane amount of research by the
in
Hollow Knight community
Hollow Knight
to
story.
make sense of Team Cherry's sprawling world. We've even made it to the point where people are looking at the in-game signs to try and decipher Hallownest's logographic language. In this video, I hope to give you a long and detailed look into the world of Hollow Knight, exploring Hallownest's history and uncertain future. When I'm not busy making surprisingly accurate Super Smash Bros. Roster speculation videos, or
Bro.
insightful podcasts about beloved subjects
Tell you what, this is like nearly 5 minutes in. Let's get into the actual.
enjoy. It's a simple fact of life.
Right, there it is. God, that was a nearly, actually a 4 minute 10 intro, like before any meat. Come on.
It's a simple fact of life that every human worships a god, be that technology, ideologies, or in rare cases,
But I don't even have a dash yet.
God.
Damn.
As it turns out, the bugs in Hallownest pretty much operate in the same way. From the Mosskin born from the dream of a giant slug, to the emo kids of the ancient civilization who literally worship the darkness, there is no shortage of things to worship in the world of Hollow Knight. Our story begins with a creature very much worthy of worship. A creature born from the carcass of a worm. The carcass can still be found
Worm
in the
spelled
Kingdom's Edge,
W-Y-R-M?
and it's our
Yeah.
only good look at what worms actually looked like. At the time Hollow Knight occurs, it is suggested there are no worms left in the world. They were incredibly long
Okay.
creatures that featured little to no limbs. Another more mysterious property of worms was that they had some kind of prescience or foresight. Basically, they could see the future to some capacity. It isn't clear how effective this ability was. Considering how the entire race went extinct, this foresight ability must have been pretty shit. Getting back to this particular worm carcass, it is explained that this worm traveled across the distant mountains and wastelands beyond Hallownest. Once it arrived in
can't
Hallownest,
get through there
the
yet.
worm died. Except not really. Inside the maw of the carcass sits a pale broken egg, out of which hatched a new form of worm, a being of meager shell. This form of the worm is usually referred to as the Pale King, and he's the character basically responsible for everything that happens in Hollow Knight. The Pale King is a higher being, a type of creature that exists above all others. His body was said to shine with a radiant visage that harmed those who looked upon him.
2 seconds.
The ultimate goal of the Pale King
Would it be... Let me see if I can do this. Because I can hear stuff from this computer. Would it be better if I added this as like a source on here? I just can't remember what you guys can and can't hear. I feel like if I have the video on this screen, maybe that'll be better. Give me a second. Because then I can put the video on screen so people can see what's being shown. Hold on a second. Moss bag. Let me go onto my ad-free profile. Good old YouTube Premium. Oh my god, are we luring out? We are. There we go. So I need to add this as a sound source for you guys. If I do add audio output, and then I guess default, would that work? If I turn this down a bit.
Pale King seemed to be in line with that of other worms.
Okay.
A line from the cryptic Mr. Mushroom reads, "Worms pull bugs into their thrall."
Give me a second. Hold on. Add applicate. No, that's audio capture. Add window capture. Chrome. There you go. Let's do that. I'll just put it teeny tiny in the corner, so there's at least some context as to what we're listening to, yeah? Nice. Let's try that.
Till ages pass and kingdoms fall. In other words, it's just in their nature. Dogs wag their tails, cats bury their shit, and worms bring massive amounts of bugs into their service in order to form long-standing kingdoms and civilizations.
Damn.
And here in a far corner of the world, the Pale King emerged from the corpse of his former self and began to build his eternal kingdom, Hallownest. There's just one slight problem. There's like people already living there. The area that would eventually become Hallownest was already filled with mantises, bees, moths, spiders, mushrooms, and bush cosplayers. Each of these groups were already operating with their own cultures and societies, and each group had a different interaction with the Pale King. One of the more receptive groups to the arrival of the Pale King were the mushrooms of the fungal wastes. These creatures were able to communicate with one another through one shared mind. The mushrooms viewed this shared mind as a strength, and they were kind of smug dickheads about it. Ultimately, the mushrooms wearily accepted the Pale King's rule, viewing his foresight as a shield to the dangers of the future. Another group living in the fungal wastes is the Mantis tribe. The Mantises have a rich cultural history reaching back to long before the birth of Hallownest. The Mantises are a proud tribe, believing in the importance of proving one's physical strength. The Mantises are fiercely territorial, but will show respect to those who display great power. These Fight Club enthusiasts were led by 4 powerful Mantis lords, who I guess just kind of sat around waiting for outsiders to challenge them. The Mantis tribe had no interest in the Pale King's kingdom, but the two communities did come to a truce. In exchange for their independence from Hallownest, the Mantis tribe kept the beasts of Deepnest from invading Hallownest. Not sure why they didn't just go out the other exits from Deepnest, but whatever. I'm not an expert on border patrol. I don't work at ICE anymore. Let's move on to Deepnest.
Hold on a minute.
Now, many of the different tribes of Hallownest were kind enough to leave lore tablets behind, detailing pretty much everything we need to know about them. Unfortunately, the bugs of Deepnest didn't do that. We know that the spiders of Deepnest had a monarchy because why not? Those are always good, right? Also, within Deepnest are a separate group of spiders that immigrated to Deepnest at some point in the past. This group was known as the Weavers, and they established their own culture and history within Deepnest. They used looms of silk to weave stories, spells, and shields. One thing we know for sure about Deepnest is that they really didn't want anything to do with Hallownest. The struggles of Deepnest-Hallownest relations would become painfully clear as time goes on, but for right now, it seems like the two remained fairly isolated from one another. Another section of pre-Hallownest includes Greenpath. Now, as far as we can tell, the mushrooms, mantises, and spiders of Deepnest didn't worship any higher beings. There is this giant mushroom corpse in the fungal core, but I don't think this is a higher being. I mean, who the hell would want to worship a fat-ass mushroom? Fat-ass slugs? Now that's dope. The land we know as Greenpath was created by the higher being known as Un. Un used her great mind to dream the vegetation of Greenpath into the once barren caverns. Un's followers, the Mosskin, were also born out of Un's dream, making her their creator. Greenpath at its height was actually much larger than we see in game. At one point, Greenpath stretched into both modern-day Queen's Garden and possibly Fog Canyon. Greenpath's citizens showed themselves to be a fairly developed society. They built a temple at the Lake of Un in order to worship her, and they even had their own line of defense, with Moss Knights showing proficiency in combat, using nails and shells as weapons. The Law of Un continued to remain in effect even after the Pale King arrived, but it seems like they allowed the king to establish a road through their lands, leading travelers to the heart of Hallownest. Hence the name Greenpath. Yeah, Team Cherry really racked their brains when naming this area, didn't they? Next, we have the bees. And while there is no lore on how these bees can turn into fucking drills, or how they can ignore all known laws of aviation, we do know how they reacted to the Pale King. These bugs decided to seal their hive off from the rest of the world, with only patrol bees being able to enter and exit the hive. So yeah, the bees are pretty much pointless in this story. And finally we have the Moth tribe. In-game, the only moth settlement is in the Resting Grounds, but the tribe might have also inhabited the Crystal Peak at one point. Now, as we all know, moths in real life are just complete assholes. As for the moths in Hollow Knight, well, it's a bit complicated. The moth race is described as being a rather pacifist group, with few ever choosing to take up a weapon. During the Pale King's reign, the moth race delved amongst dreams and the dead, displaying the importance of remembering those who have passed, as well as learning how to shape dreams themselves. Similar to the Mosskin, the Moth tribe was born from a higher being, known as the Radiance. The Radiance is described as being a light in which the Moth tribe basked, so she was basically a giant lamp to them. Another important aspect about the Radiance is her ties to dreams and a substance known as essence. Essence are the remains of wishes and dreams, and are represented in-game by these Dreamcatcher particle effects. Essence can take the form of whispering roots, as well as dream ghosts, both of which are memories taking root in the world. The Radiance appears to be a creature made of essence, but she isn't the only higher being to give off essence. Un has green particles, the Pale King has gray particles, and this sexy character named Grim gives off fiery red particles. However, the Radiance appears to be the main god when it comes to dreams, even if other gods also dabble in the dream realm. Getting back to the Moth tribe, it is their interaction with the Pale King that we need to discuss. Basically, the Moths turned their backs on the Radiance completely, in order to worship the new light that had appeared, the Pale King's light. So yeah, Moths are assholes in this game too. With her tribe forsaking her, the Radiance became a forgotten memory, a remnant of the past, and a thing that's definitely not going to come up again later in this video. And so the Pale King's new kingdom was established, Hallownest. But there is one aspect of Hallownest that we need to discuss. Unfortunately, to better understand this, we're going to have to read some poetry. In wilds beyond they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught, we changed. Base instincts were redeemed. A world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed. This is from a poem titled Elegy for Hallownest, written by Modemon the Teacher. The poem appears at the beginning of every playthrough, and hints at what the Pale King and his kingdom offered. Much of the land outside of Hallownest appears to be a wasteland, where bugs survive off of instinct, without the burden of mind. Hallownest somehow taught these bugs and tamed their savagery. Basically, the Pale King changed the instincts of his subjects and granted them higher thought. To get a better picture of this, let's look at two different characters, Boone and Tuck. These adorable panda bug things give us a clear display of Hallownest's effect. While both appear to be the same species of bug, Boone is dumb as a sack of rocks, struggling to string together words, while Tuck speaks fairly clearly. The main difference between these two characters is that while Boone lives outside of Hallownest, Tuck lives beneath the city's capital. Basically,
I definitely can't concentrate on this video when there's a boss in my face. Hold on, I need to rewind just a teensy bit. I'll carry that on in a second. Let me do this fight. Oh, bollocks. Oh, that's different. Okay. Oh, I thought that was going to be the shockwave attack. Oh, shit, man, he got me right in the dome. Shockwave? Yeah, okay, cool. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Okay, got it. Go. Ooh. Got him. Healer. Oh, I got him in just the wrong spot. Oh my god. Oh, that's not the attack I thought he was about to do. Oh, shockwave. Okay. So wait, so he doesn't come off the ground when he shockwaves. Okay. Oh, I've jumped too early. Barely survived that. And he does jump slams. Okay. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, I thought you were done. Oh, shit. Heal. Heal many a time. Oh, he's off. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Is he dead? Did I do it? Apparently so. The city crest. Sure, what does the city crest do? Stone slabs bearing the crest of the Hallownest capital city has an insert on the back that would fit into a slot. Okay. I had no idea what I was doing there, but that's fine. Let's carry on.
Basically, the moths turned their backs on the Radiants completely in order to worship the new light that had appeared.
Oh god.
The Pale King's light. So yeah, moths are assholes in this game too. With her tribe forsaking her, the Radiants became a forgotten memory, a remnant of the past, and a thing that's definitely not going to come up again later in this video. And so the Pale King's new kingdom was established, Hallownest. But there is one aspect of Hallownest that we need to discuss. Unfortunately, to better understand this, we're going to have to read some poetry.
Oh no.
In wilds beyond they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught, we changed. Base instincts were redeemed. A world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed. This is from a poem titled Elegy for Hallownest, written by Modemon the Teacher. The poem appears at the beginning of every playthrough, and hints at what the Pale King and his kingdom offered. Much of the land outside of Hallownest appears to be a wasteland, where bugs survive off of instinct, without the burden of mind. Hallownest somehow taught these bugs and tamed their savagery. Basically, the Pale King changed the instincts of his subjects and granted them higher thought. To get a better picture of this, let's look at two different characters, Boone and Tuck.
Oh, cool.
These adorable panda bug things give us a clear display of Hallownest's effect. While both appear to be the same species of bug, Boone is dumb as a sack of rocks, struggling to string together words, while Tuck speaks fairly clearly. The main difference between these two characters is that while Boone lives outside of Hallownest, Tuck lives beneath the city's capital. Basically, it appears as though Hallownest is a literal holy ground that raises the intelligence of those who dwell within. The Pale King established a path, starting from the kingdom's entrance in King's Pass, winding through Greenpath and the fungal wastes, and finally ending at the massive capital at Hallownest's heart. We now know the capital city as the City of Tears, but that was likely not its original name. The rain that falls down onto the city from the blue lake above didn't begin until after the kingdom collapsed. So unless the capital was originally named by some edgy literature student, the name City of Tears wouldn't have made much sense. The king's motivation for all this appears to have been his desire to be worshipped. The citizens of Hallownest believe that the Pale King created the world and everything in it. Shrines to the king can be found scattered throughout the kingdom, and king's idols were created and distributed to followers of the king. Despite the worship, the Pale King often kept himself hidden from his subjects, possibly to hide his blemishes. I mean, if you look at the size of the real Pale King to his statue in the ancient basin, the man is clearly overcompensating. The Pale King's White Palace was also built underneath the city, separating him from his subjects even more so. At the same time, certain powers became shunned in Hallownest, though we don't know for sure if the Pale King had anything to do with this. Lifeblood is a blue liquidy substance that leaves those who drink it feeling refreshed. However, the use of lifeblood was seen as a taboo, and those who used it were demonized as heretics. The use of soul for combat was also shunned. Soul is a sort of life force in Hollow Knight that animates the bodies of living creatures. But some characters are able to control the soul of others to conjure powerful spirits.
There you go.
But aside from a few exceptions, no citizens of Hallownest ever used this power. However, the Pale King didn't rule alone. There was another higher being in the mix, a being known as the White Lady. The White Lady is a weird brute-like being that can be found in the modern-day Queen's Gardens. She is encased in a strange cocoon, and we know very little about her. With as much exposition we get for the Pale King, there is next to nothing on the White Lady. But one thing we do know is that she likes to breed. Like, a lot. The White Lady would often retreat to the Queen's Gardens, an area of land once controlled by the Mosskin. How exactly she walked around and actually went places is a lore question too deep for even my expertise. The White Lady is also known as a pale being, along with the Pale King. What exactly are pale beings? Well, we don't know for sure, but they seem to stand out even amongst higher beings, as being even more powerful. I know that's a little confusing, so let's try using an example. I'd say that regular higher beings are like a TP-Link Archer C7 AC1750 wireless dual-band gigabit router, while pale beings are like the Asus RT-AX88U AX6000 dual-band 8X gigabit
I understood
Wi-Fi router.
every word.
Under the Pale King, Hallownest underwent a bit of an industrial revolution. He ordered the construction of the stagways, which were used to transport passengers and goods. The Forgotten Crossroads and the storerooms above the City of Tears were used to store goods that traveled along these stagways. The king also ordered the construction of the tramways, because literally no one is safe from the threat of automation. A tram was built between the Forgotten Crossroads and the resting grounds. A second tram was built from the kingdom's edge across the ancient basin over to Deepnest. And then a third tram was started in Deepnest and attempted to go further into Deepnest. Not sure how useful that would have been to the bugs of Hallownest, but whatever. The Pale King's a smart guy. I'm not gonna question him. But anyway, the Pale King's super smart plan to build a tram in Deepnest ended up getting a few of his tram workers killed. The bugs of Deepnest rejected the Pale King's attempt to build a tram in their territory, further cementing the poor relations shared between the two groups. Aside from convenient fast travel, regular pathways were also used to cart goods around the kingdom. From this was born probably one of the most important groups in Hallownest, and perhaps even all of fiction. An elusive guild of bugs, simply known as the Menderbugs, took to maintaining the various signs scattered throughout Hallownest. From the journal entry of one Menderbug, we can catch a glimpse into their ancient and unknowable minds.
Dear, dear diary.
Hold on, wait.
Isn't life just the most beautiful?
I feel like I missed the name of those.
Regular pathways were also used to cart goods around the kingdom. From this was born probably one of the most important groups in Hallownest, and perhaps even all of
What
fiction.
were they called?
An elusive guild of bugs, simply known as the Menderbugs, took to maintain the
Menderbug.
various
Menor or
signs scattered
Mender?
throughout Hallownest.
Menderbugs.
From the journal entry of one Menderbug, we can catch a glimpse into their ancient and unknowable minds.
Dear, dear diary. Isn't life just the most beautiful thing? Fixing signs, mending posts, let them break, I say. I'm a better mender for all that repairing. I sometimes doubt there's a single bug in all of Hallownest happier than me.
Another example of the Pale King's expanding infrastructure.
Wait, just
is the
quickly.
Crystal
Was that
Peak.
actually an entry?
This area is filled with
or
crystals that
close
grow
to it?
rapidly along walls, ceilings, and even the shells of certain bugs. These crystals were considered valuable to the bugs of Hallownest, resulting in large-scale mining efforts. We don't actually see the crystals used anywhere else in Hallownest, but they are said to contain a sort of energy. The crystals are also said to sing, if you listen very carefully.
There it is. There's the Rickroll. I thought there might be one of
terms
those in here
military,
somewhere at some point.
Hallownest's first line of defense appeared to be a group simply known as the Five Great Knights. The members of this esteemed coalition were Ogrim, Hagamol, Zamir, Drya, and Isma. For being so important, most of the information about these knights has been lost to time. Ogrim is the knight we know the most about, since he is one of the few knights still alive during the events of the game. Ogrim expressed a great amount of loyalty towards the king, and he maybe had something going on with Isma, but we really don't know. Hagamol was known for his sense of humor and his soft-spoken voice,
Okay.
but at the same time, he was also dummy thick. Mysterious Samir arrived in Hallownest from a serene
Swallow.
land, bringing with her a collection of delicate flowers. At some point, she also got into a relationship with a mantis, but not just any mantis, a daughter of one of the mantis lords.
Oh.
So yeah, it seems like these great knights were slaying in more ways than one. All we really know about Drya is that she was fierce, caring, and
there
wise.
was Silk Song right there.
As for Isma, she was described as being kind. She also appears to be some sort of weird plant life form, but there's no information on where she's from or what her powers were. The Five Great Knights play an important role in the Champion's Call, the Knotted Grove, and the Battle of the Black Worm. We have no idea what these events were or how they affected Hallownest, but they sound cool nonetheless. During Hallownest's reign, there was another strange area that seemed to exist separate from the Pale King's rule. Carved out of the corpse of an ancient bug, an area called the Colosseum of Fools was constructed, and it was a destination for warriors from outside Hallownest. The sole purpose for fighting in the Colosseum appeared to be simply for glory, with a mysterious figure known as the Lord Fool overseeing the combat. We don't know when the Colosseum was constructed or if the Pale King was involved, but one of his servants, the Pale Lurker, became a champion in the Colosseum, perhaps indicating the Pale King's approval. And finally, there was the Royal Waterways, where the fecal excrement of the kingdom was washed out into the fungal wastes. This area saw the rise of a species of parasite-like creatures called the Flukes.
Oh.
The Flukes spawned from the Flukemarm, a giant monster with cavities in which tinier flukes live. There really isn't too much lore involved with the Flukes, but I do need to point out that the Flukemarm is canonically a MILF. Like, that's not even debatable. The sky is blue,
Nice.
2 + 2 = 4, and we all want to fuck this thing. And so this was the kingdom
Every
of
hole's a
Hallownest at
goal?
its height. Hallownest was a vast
I don't know,
kingdom
man.
connected by a network of stagways and tram stations. The bugs of Hallownest mourned their dead on the resting grounds, engaged in commerce using Geo, the de facto currency of the region, and a thriving capital located in the middle of the kingdom.
Nice.
The Pale King had succeeded in crafting a full-blown society, but we all know there are pitfalls to living in a society. As a suspiciously knowledgeable hunter points out in his journal, the Pale King
Oh,
had
okay,
created a
sorry.
population of weak and pathetic creatures. The bugs of Hallownest did not hunt for their own food, and had become complacent with their comfort. This is even more obvious with the east wing of the capital. These greedy members of Hallownest's high society became complete cowards, obsessed with riches and plum from excess wealth. The bugs living in Hallownest's prime looked quite different than the instinctive simpletons they once were. Their savagery had been replaced with intelligence, and through that intellect, they gave the Pale King the devotion and service he desired. and while there were a few snags along the way, they were shining times for the king and his subjects. Resting at the threshold of Hallownest is a strange lore tablet, proclaiming Hallownest to be the last and only civilization. It calls Hallownest an eternal kingdom. This appears to have been the Pale King's goal, for Hallownest to stand against a wasted world as a final beacon for civilization. And that was the Pale King's ultimate folly, to think that he could succeed where so many others had failed before. Long before the Pale Kings or the Barry Bensons of the world, the land of Hallownest was controlled by an ancient caste. Hints of Hallownest history are littered throughout the land, with the most notable examples being the soul totems and arcane eggs. One sect of these ancient bugs didn't worship a god like the Pale King or any lord, but instead a dark and mysterious substance known as the Void. This ancient caste once also tried to lay claim to the entire land of Hallownest, but they too failed. In his quest to conquer all of Hallownest, the Pale King had made an enemy long forgotten, an enemy that was about to be remembered.
What, the moth lady?
I mentioned earlier that the Moth tribe entirely forgot about the Radiants in order to worship the Pale King, but that isn't quite true. Memories of her still lingered, and hushed whispers of faith kept the Radiants alive. At the summit of the Crystal Peak, a location known as Hallownest Crown, a strange collection of glyphs can be found. Joining these glyphs is a statue of the Radiants, presiding over the kingdom below. This old summit is the sole standing shrine left to the Radiants. This was built in order to keep the memory of the Radiants alive. The Radiants' light began to appear in the dreams of Hallownest citizens. This light manifested itself in an infection that ravaged through the kingdom's tunnels.
Oh no.
Those infected would fall into a deep sleep and awaken with broken minds. Some of the lesser bugs tried to resist the Radiance's light, which only resulted in them being consumed by it even more so. Many infected bugs lost their wills and began attacking bugs that weren't infected. The infection also twisted the bodies of its hosts, causing them to bloat and occasionally develop orange cysts on their bodies. For many victims, they were reverted back to their basic instincts, carrying out the duties they once fulfilled in life, but now as mindless slaves. Those caught up in the infection were linked into the Radiance's hive mind, allowing her to control their bodies if needed. As the infection spread across Hallownest, many groups looked to solutions to fight off the Radiance's light. The gates to the City of Tears were closed in an attempt to keep the infection from reaching the city. The stagways were also shut down at some point, and many of the stags eventually died out. But some took more proactive efforts against the infection.
Oh, you can hurt it.
The scholars of the Soul Sanctum decided to harness the power of Soul in an attempt to fight the infection. This resulted in the deaths of hundreds of bugs,
not worth me doing
whose
that,
souls
but
were
still.
sucked out and injected into the bodies of the scholars. Their goal was
I feel
to
like I've not
achieve
been
some
paying
kind of
attention for a
pure
moment. Hold on. Let's go back to the start of this bit. The infection appears. Let me rewind a teensy bit.
and occasionally develop orange cysts on their bodies. For many victims, they were reverted back to their basic instincts, carrying out the duties they once fulfilled in life, but now as mindless slaves. Those caught up in the infection were linked into the Radiance's hive mind, allowing her to control their bodies if needed. As the infection spread across Hallownest, many groups looked to solutions to fight off the Radiance's light. The gates to the City of Tears were closed in an attempt to keep the infection from reaching the city. The stagways were also shut down at some point, and many of the stags eventually died out, but some took more proactive efforts against the infection. The scholars of the Soul Sanctum decided to harness the power of Soul in an attempt to fight the infection. This resulted in the deaths of hundreds of bugs, whose souls were sucked out and injected into the bodies of the scholars. Their goal was to achieve some kind of pure focus, which would somehow protect them from plagues of the mind. The scholars' leader, the Soul Master, was driven mad by the sheer power of Soul, and his entire sect failed to avoid infection. But hey, at least they took as many innocent people down with them as they could. The Mantis tribe, showing a stronger will than the common bug, were able to stave off the infection. However, one of the 4 Mantis lords turned against his sisters. He and his followers took in the infection willingly, as it gave them more strength and courage. At some point during all this, the Traitor Lord and his followers were exiled from the Mantis village, eventually taking up residence in the Queen's Gardens. The Trade Lord's daughter ended up dying at some point. This is the same mantis that was in a relationship with Zamir, one of the 5 Great Knights.
Okay.
But the mantises rejected their union because of Zamir's outsideness. As a gamer, this type of prejudice is all too familiar, and honestly, it makes me sick. With the 5 Great Knights completely useless to fight against the infection, the Pale King devised his own scheme. A scheme involving a strange substance known as Void. As I mentioned earlier,
There are so many
the Pale
substances
King's
and all
White
sorts in this
Palace
game,
was
isn't there?
built in an area called the Ancient Basin, but his castle wasn't the only noteworthy thing down there. At the bottom of the Ancient Basin was the entrance to a pit known as the Abyss. Within the Abyss was a lake composed of void. The Pale King realized that this void could be given form, as evidenced by an imprint of such deep within the Abyss, possibly left there by the ancient civilization that predated Hallownest. The Pale King devised a workshop in his palace, where he placed void in armor shells imbued with soul, creating servants known as King's Molds and Wing Molds. These void creatures were somehow imprinted with the desire of the Pale King, so that they would serve him. It isn't clear when the Pale King started making these creatures. There is evidence to imply that even common bugs were aware of King's Molds. But the point is, the Pale King turned to the void in order to create another
Bro, let
creature,
me heal.
one that he believed could contain the Radiance and her infection. He tried to create
Past
a
it.
pure
Oh my God, thank
vessel.
God.
The Radiance's infection needs its host to have a will and a mind in order to enslave it.
Hold up.
A pure vessel would be a creature made
Rewind,
of void.
rewind. Whenever I've got like those like more intense fights, I can't concentrate on the lore.
Design of 1 point so out in the abyss. This void possibly left
There we
there by the ancient civilization that predated Hallownest. The Pale King devised a workshop in his palace, where he placed void in armor shells imbued with soul,
Oh,
creating servants
the hell
known
is
as
that
King's Molds and Wing Molds. These void creatures were somehow imprinted with the desire of the Pale King, so that they would serve him. It isn't clear when the Pale King started making these creatures. There is evidence to imply that even common bugs were aware of King's Molds. But the point is, the Pale King turned to the void in order to create another creature, one that he believed could contain the Radiance and her infection. He tried to create a pure vessel. The Radiance's infection needs its host to have a will and a mind in order to enslave it.
okay.
A pure vessel would be a creature made of void, designed to lack those features. The Pale King believed that by harnessing the void inside a pure vessel, he would be able to stop the infection and keep Hallownest lasting eternal. But his method for creating this so-called pure vessel was incredibly cruel. This is where the White Lady and her King Kong-sized libido come into play. These two higher beings engaged in a union of some kind, resulting in the creation of several eggs that were dropped down into the abyss. There, the void seeped into these eggs, corrupting the offspring of the Pale King and the White Lady. This act resulted in the creation of the vessels. The vessels are not technically considered to be alive. They are shells created from the Pale King and White Lady that have been filled with a void. Within each vessel is a shade, a completely void being hidden behind the face of the vessel. Vessels are also non-gendered, I guess because they're dead or something. I'm not sure if that's how that works, but whatever. I'm not an expert on these kinds of things. I don't work at ICE anymore. Thousands of
Why
vessels
do you
were
keep
created
saying
during
that?
this process, but only one was chosen as the pure vessel. This particular vessel, chosen by the Pale King, was deemed the Hollow Knight,
So is
and
that
was
us?
taken away to the White Palace. But I want to take a bit of a closer look at this part of the story. There are a number of questions and theories surrounding this moment that I really want to dig into. The big question surrounding this moment is, why was the Hollow Knight chosen over any other vessel? One common theory is that the Pale King took these vessels back to the White Palace and evaluated them using his giant collection of buzzsaws. This theory is probably the least likely explanation. It kinda exists just to explain the buzzsaws, which is quite the mystery, I'll admit, but doesn't really mesh with the vessels very well. How does being good at Super Meat Boy prove that you are a worthy vessel? And while thinking about logistics in a game about magic bugs is never a good idea, how exactly did the Pale King transfer these thousands of vessels to his palace without characters like the Dung Defender finding out? So this means that the Pale King probably made his decision without taking any of the vessels out of the abyss. So how did the Pale King make his evaluation? I think the best
Oh my
explanation
gosh.
comes from a theory I originally heard from a user named...
I'm so fucking far back from where I was a second ago. Oh no. Let me lock in for a second to get back. I can't believe it sent me quite so far back. You are out your mind. I had so much money as well. I've basically not had a chance to go to a shop yet. I've just been zooming through. Like, I felt quite competent so far. Like, I feel like I've been absolutely smashing it. Albeit through mostly luck, but still. The player is called the Knight, not the Hollow Knight. I think the Hollow Knight shows up later. Okay. Oh, have I got to do this again? Surely not. Oh. Oh, balls. Hopefully not. Oh, the door is... Oh, wait. Was this door not open before? Oh, wait. Oh, someone said go above. What do you mean go above? Oh, the one on the right. Oh, no. Could I have just run past him then? Let me try again. Oh. Go. If I don't have to fight, I won't. If I don't have to fight, I won't. If I don't have to fight and I can flee, then I will run and save my hiney. I don't think I'm miles away from where I was. So I don't have to kill every single thing on the way through. Okay. Let's just keep healing up. Okay, go. Ooh, little fart after death. Okay, I think we're back, right? Where's my bod? No, I'm not back yet. There I am. Okay, we're good. Woo! Tell you what, actually, just while I focus on this fight here. Oh! Big delay on that one. Ooh. Oh! Easy now, fella. There we go. Alright, I can get back to info dumping. I'm going to rewind a teensy bit on it.
Finding out. Thousands of vessels is never a good idea. How exactly did the Pale King transfer these thousands of vessels to his palace without characters like the Dung Defender finding out? So this means that the Pale King probably made his decision without taking any of the vessels out of the abyss. So how did the Pale King make his evaluation? I think the best explanation comes from a theory I originally heard from a user named Golden Flower Fan. Basically, the vessels were hatched down at the bottom of the abyss, and the first one to make it to the top was chosen by the Pale King. In a memory of this event, we see vessels falling from above back down into the pit of the abyss. Perhaps these vessels weren't being cast down into the abyss, but fell while trying to escape out of it. The lore tablet outside the abyss appears to support this theory. It reads, "Our pure vessel has ascended. Beyond lies only the refuse and regret of its creation. We shall enter that place no longer." This tablet was likely written right after the Hollow Knight was chosen, considering that is when the entrance to the abyss was sealed off. The tablet proclaims that the pure vessel has ascended, or in other words, climbed out of the abyss. And while cut content should never be considered canon, I would just like to point out that an earlier version of this tablet, found in the game's code, was even more explicit about this. It read, "From below, our pure vessel has ascended." But how does making it to the top of the abyss first prove that the Hollow Knight is somehow a perfectly hollow vessel? Well, I think this whole concept might just be a misconception. What if the Hollow Knight wasn't any different from the other vessels? All the vessels were made in the exact same way after all. The idea that the Hollow Knight was somehow more hollow than the other vessels comes from the fact that there were so many vessels created in the first place. If they only needed one, then why create so goddamn many? I mean, this is like Octomom on steroids. Well, these are bugs we're talking about, so it would make sense that multiple offspring would come from one egg. and it might have been a precaution to produce multiple vessels in hopes that at least one would be able.
Okay, just quick. What do I want to buy here, chat? I got 733. I feel like I should buy something. Highly recommend if you're having trouble finding your way in the maze of ruins below. Try this charm. It will pinpoint your location on your map. Oh, hell yeah, I'll take that. Yep, compass for sure. Quill, yeah. Take that. What else? Bench pin? Stagway would be good, actually. I think I can afford both, right? I can get bench and stagways. I don't care about hot springs as much, I don't think. Should I buy some markers? I'll buy some markers as well. So I can actually put stuff on the map. Okay, cool. Let's go. Nice. That sound. Did anybody hear that sound just then, chat? That sound, if you heard it, I hear all the time on my Chrome browser, and I don't know why. I hear it all the time. Does anybody know what that specific sound is? It's like a Windows sound, but I only ever hear it when I have Chrome open. And it comes out of Chrome, like, because I can see it on the playback device or whatever. It's just all the time. I don't know if I've got an extension or something that causes it. Is someone remoting into my PC and that's the giveaway? Like, what's the thing? I have no idea, genuinely. It's been bugging me for so long. Was this where I was going? I was. I tell you what, do I have a scrap here with... Come no closer, ghost. I've seen you creeping through the undergrowth, stalking me. The old kingdom, a terrible thing awakens. I can smell it in the air. I know what you are, and I know what you try to do. I can't allow it. Ooh. Okay. Oh, I actually managed to jump back over it. Sick. Woo, boy. All right. Oh, I was trying to heal, please. Oh, God, give me a break. Give me a fucking break, woman. Give me a fucking break. What did this do? There's no moment where I can't just fucking... No music. Sorry. Yeah, it's... I turned the music off because it was really clashing with the music in the video. I'll put the music back on. So annoying. I'll put the music back on for a moment. It was because there was double up on music. So yeah. So the one that we're fighting here, is this the one that is the character in Silk Song? It is. Okay, cool. All right. Oh, just... Okay. Whoop. Nice. Nice. Oh, ah, you bugger, you got me there. Whoop. Let's go. I feel like I did pretty good there. Was that good? I feel like I did all right. I got the read on that pretty quick. 10 shards. Oh, do people see how many they can, like, how many shards they can avoid? Oh, sorry, how many shards are said in total? RT. Okay, RT to dash forward. So I've got my dash now. Oh, thank God. Oh my God, what happened there?
Would it seek to break the seals? They cannot be undone. They must be undone. Let us sleep, little shadow. Return to your darkness. Allow us our peace.
Woof. Okay, dramatic. It is very Watchers-esque, isn't it? All right, cool. So let me just make sure I understand the lore as we've had it so far. So we've got the Radiant, who was the head of the Moths. They turned their back on her and started following the Pale King. The Pale King, and then who was the Queen again? Who was the Queen the head of? The White Lady. Okay, so you got the White Lady and the King, and then they worked together to create the Hollows. And then it was the first Hollow that got to the top, or assumedly got to the top, was then granted, like, the rank and everything. Yeah, the vessels. Yeah, the Void and the vessels. Let's rewind a teensy bit.
Is probably the least likely explanation.
There we are.
It
Let's
kind
carry
of
on from there.
exists just to explain the buzzsaws, which is quite the mystery, I'll admit, but doesn't really mesh with the vessels very well. How does being good at Super Meat Boy prove that you are a worthy vessel? And while thinking about logistics in a game about magic bugs is never a good idea, how exactly did the Pale King transfer these thousands of vessels to his palace without characters like the Dung Defender finding out? So this means that the Pale King probably made his decision without taking any of the vessels out of the Abyss. So how did the Pale King make his evaluation? I think the best explanation comes from a theory I originally heard from a user named Golden Flower Fan. Basically, the vessels were hatched down at the bottom of the Abyss, and the first one to make it to the top was chosen by the Pale King. In a memory of this event, we see vessels falling from above back down into the pit of the Abyss. Perhaps these vessels weren't being cast down into the Abyss, but fell while trying to escape out of it. The lore tablet outside the Abyss appears to support this theory. It reads, "Our pure vessel has ascended. Beyond lies only the refuse and regret of its creation. We shall enter that place no longer." This tablet was likely written right after the Hollow Knight was chosen, considering that is when the entrance to the Abyss was sealed off. The tablet proclaims that the pure vessel has ascended, or in other words, climbed out of the Abyss. And while cut content should never be considered canon, I would just like to point out that an earlier version of this tablet, found in the game's code, was even more explicit about this. It read, "From below, our pure vessel has ascended." But how does making it to the top of the Abyss first prove that the Hollow Knight is somehow a perfectly hollow vessel? Well, I think this whole concept might just be a misconception. What if the Hollow Knight wasn't any different from the other vessels? All the vessels were made in the exact same way after all. The idea that the
just
Hollow Knight
climbed
was
on the
somehow
corpses
more
of the
hollow
other
than
ones.
the other vessels comes from the fact that there were so many vessels created in the first place. If they only needed one, then why create so goddamn many? I mean, this is like Octomom on steroids. Well, these are bugs we're talking about, so it would make sense that multiple offspring would come from one egg.
I'm going now.
And it might have been a precaution to produce multiple vessels in hopes that at least one would be able to successfully escape the Abyss. Now another explanation could be that the Pale King just yeeted other vessels that made it to the top first, after determining that they weren't hollow, which would better explain why so many were created. Ultimately, the exact details aren't super important, but I do find it interesting how many different interpretations can be pulled from this part of the lore. After the Hollow Knight was chosen, the Pale King sealed the doorway to the Abyss, leaving the discarded vessels to rot away in darkness. These actions were not taken lightly by the Pale King or the White Lady. Both participants expressed shame in what they did, but saw no other option to save the kingdom. But the vessels weren't the only poor saps sealed away in the Abyss. There's also a lighthouse that was built on top of a naturally formed spire, its light shining down on an ocean of abyss below. Inside was one of the Pale King's royal retainers, who was left in charge of keeping the lighthouse turned on. So this brave soul was willingly sealed in a dark and dangerous tomb for the rest of his life, just so he could not pull a lever. Well, at least he was living with purpose. With the Abyss sealed and the Hollow Knight chosen, the Pale King's plan was beginning to come together. The Hollow Knight was raised and trained to prime form, causing it to grow several times its original size. We don't know exactly why this happened, but I guess the Hollow Knight is just a grower and not a shower. We know that the Hollow Knight was trained to use a nail, but why was this even necessary? One possible explanation is that the Hollow Knight needed to protect itself in case an intruder tried to kill it. You know, like the player. Or perhaps this was important in the process of containing the radiance. Unfortunately, the details of that are never fully explained. The Hollow Knight might have somehow focused the radiance inside itself, but Team Cherry gives us no explanation of how that might have worked. But that still wasn't enough for the Pale King. Additional seals were needed in order to protect the Hollow Knight's physical body while the radiance was trapped inside of it. To achieve this, the Pale King sought the help of 3 particular bugs, who would later be known as the Dreamers. Lurien the Watcher, Motomon the Teacher, and Hera the Beast.
Oh, I've heard
Lurien
Hera
is definitely
before,
the most mysterious of the 3 Dreamers. He lived in the Watcher Spire in the City of Tears. From there, Lurien watched over the city with his telescope. Lurien was a pretty big fan of the king, so it probably took little convincing for him to lie down for him. Lurien might also...
Quick question, chat. Where do I go from here? Where are we thinking? I mean, I still don't have the map just yet. Shall I try and look for the map? Because that's what we were doing in my other save a moment ago, wasn't I? Pretty sure it was actually this way as well. Was it this way? Fungal waste, probably. Half the time it's just I can't remember if I have or haven't been somewhere before, you know what I mean? Oh, it was this bit. Yeah, let me do this real quick then. So... Oh, bit low. My bad. Now that I'm playing this on, like, PC, it's so much... Ow. Okay, I'm actually failing just equally as much as I did before. There you go. Nice. Alright. Have I basically just caught up now with my save from earlier? It feels like I have. Although I feel like everything makes a bit more sense now. So I mean, I guess am I just going downward here? Is that my goal? Just keep descending? Do you reckon? Especially now that I've got these new abilities and stuff. Oh, gosh. Oh, I didn't think about striking whilst going into that. Bit of a waste. Never mind. Ah, I really thought I had that on the angle. No. I need some health, dude. Yeah, I guess all I'm looking for now is just where to go next. I feel like I was in a good flow state and I feel like I've hit a wall a little bit. Maybe I go back this way and then try going down? I mean, that's my problem with some Metroidvania games. Is I end up a little bit, like, abandoned. Oh, gosh. Oh, it's not good. It's not good at all. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. I need health, dude. Or should I go back to town? Should I go back to town and then make my way? And by town I mean back to Dirtmouth and then just go downward again. Now that I've got the dash ability. I feel like that might be the better shout. Yeah, should we do that? Okay, cool. Just rest real quick, get my health back. Boink, boink, boink. Oh, wait. Have I missed the... I... Confused there. I guess if we could buy the map as well for Green Path, that would be good. Oops. I have no idea where I am. I feel like I'm kind of running the whole game through again. Where am I? Am I going the right way to get back to the train station? I have no idea. Hold on. Where am I? Where do I go? I'll go down. Oh, wait, this is different. Or is it? Oh, no, I think I have been here. Do you have a map? I don't have a map for Green Path, no. Wait, do I need to equip the compass for it to actually work? Oh my god, I do as well. Oh god. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, actually, maybe for 2. Oh, gosh. Nice. Can you parry in this game? Stop it. Okay, wait. Hold on. Maybe I will give this a try. Oh, maybe you can't. Got it anyway. Let's go. Alright, I suppose I will take the money. Turns out you can parry. Who knew? Not me, clearly. Were we saying... Oh, yeah. I found it. Go back. There's the train. Let's do that. Sweet, found it. Good work. Oh, yeah. Pop on the bench. And let me... throw that on. I won't worry about the thorns one for now. Alright, off we go, fella. We'll go to Dirtmouth. We'll buy the Green Path map. Sounds good. Then we'll just work our way down, I suppose.
Also be tied to another strange incident that occurred in the City of Tears. Hidden on some of Lurien's lore tablets are images of jars, the same jars that can be found stockpiled in the Tower of Love. This building sits on the outskirts of the city, and is the setting of one of the most bizarre bosses in the game, the Collector. The Collector is a void construct that appears to have been made from the same mold used to create the King's molds. But the Collector is unique because, well,
Good grief, he's naked!
The Collector stayed in the Tower of Love with a noble bug who likely owned the establishment. In the tower, a number of bugs can be found captured in jars, implying that these two were tasked with collecting these creatures. However, the Collector somehow became obsessed with grubs, creating a map to keep track of grubs it captured in jars, as well as keeping a strange shrine displaying a grub in the style of the Vitruvian Man. Eventually, the bug staying with the Collector decided to lock it inside the Tower of Love, and fled to the Queen's Gardens, where it died, likely due to overexposure to the void.
I feel like I've missed a whole bit there.
Creatures.
Can we go back to the start of the
But
Three
that
Dreamers?
still wasn't enough for the Pale King.
Okay, back to it.
Additional seals were needed in order to protect the Hollow Knight's physical body while the Radiance was trapped inside of it. To achieve this, the Pale King sought the help of 3 particular bugs, who would later be known as the Dreamers: Lurien the Watcher, Motomon the Teacher, and Hera the Beast. Lurien is definitely the most mysterious of the 3 Dreamers. He lived in the Watcher Spire in the City of Tears. From there, Lurien watched over the city with his telescope. Lurien was a pretty big fan of the king, so it probably took little convincing for him to lie down for him. Lurien might also be tied to another strange incident that occurred in the City of Tears. Hidden on some of Lurien's lore tablets are images of jars, the same jars that can be found stockpiled in the Tower of Love. This building sits on the outskirts of the city, and is the setting of one of the most bizarre bosses in the game, the Collector. The Collector is a void construct that appears to have been made from the same mold used to create the King's molds. But the Collector is unique because, well,
Good grief, he's naked!
The Collector stayed in the Tower of Love with a noble bug who likely owned the establishment. In the tower, a number of bugs can be found captured in jars, implying that these two were tasked with collecting these creatures. However, the Collector somehow became obsessed with grubs, creating a map to keep track of grubs it captured in jars, as well as keeping a strange shrine displaying a grub in the style of the Vitruvian Man. Eventually, the bug staying with the collector decided to lock it inside the Tower of Love, and fled to the Queen's Gardens, where it died, likely due to overexposure to the void. Despite being locked up in the tower, the collector is
Sorry, who the hell is this? Salubra, the charm lover. Wow. Okay, sure. Get Shaman Stone. Shaman Stone. Are you a spellcaster, you little scoundrel? If you only ever learn... if you ever learn any spells, you should buy this charm for yourself. I heard it'll make this the spell much stronger. Shaman Stone is huge. Shaman Stone is purchased. No idea what it does, but sure. Steady body. Love the simple design. Classy. Solid heavy material. Wear it and you'll be able to stay firmly in place when swinging your little nail around. Ooh. Don't even know if I'll put it on right away, but I'm tempted. Alright, hold on. So I don't have many notches, do I? I guess I've not been looking at the map all that often. I might actually pull that for now. Should I do that? Oh, I need to be on the bench anyway. Never mind. Oh, bench right there. Perfect. Yeah, what do you reckon I go for? How do I get more notches, by the way? I've only got one notch, haven't I? Oh, Shaman Stone is 3. You can buy from it. Oh, does she sell them? Ah, I wouldn't have wasted my money if I'd known she sold them. I wasn't paying attention. Oh, I see. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, well, at least I know where that is now. Okay, sure. Tell you what, then, for now, let me throw on... I'll throw back on all of those notches, all of those things. Because I think just for getting about and getting soul back and stuff, that would be good. But what I will do is on the map, I'm going to slap down a marker. I'm going to put a marker right there, just so I know to come back here and buy some stuff once I've got a bit more dollar. What's the cheapest notch she has available? 120 and 500. Okay, to be honest, I could maybe even get that extra one now. Let me just go grab extra couple quid. There's not much there, is there? Who's this? Who the hell are you? Oh, isn't he the upgrade guy? I feel like I have met him before. Sly. Or am I wrong? You have your nail though, and I can tell just by looking at you, you know how to wield it. Oh. Come on, get me to 120. Give me a second, chat. I want to see if I can get to 120, then I'll put the lore video back on. Just be nice to buy that one extra notch, wouldn't it? Oh. 17. Oh. Oops. Okay, 113. What was it? 120 that I needed. Oh, did not realise you boys had already popped out. There we go. 120. Sweet. Let's go buy that and then we can carry on. Let's go that way. Alright, what we got? Long nail. The nail you wield is adorable, but do you sometimes feel it could be a bit longer? Ooh, that's also tempting. For now, though, I'll take that. So does that now mean that I'll have 4 notches as opposed to 3? Yes, it does. Let's take away... We can take away compass, right? We can take away compass and throw on Shaman Stone. Oh, that's over, isn't it? Whoops. Oh, wait. Compass. Let's go. No. Compass. And Shaman Stone. Let's see how that feels. Alright, sweet. Let's carry on exploring.
Still spotted by the hunter at some point, which either means this only happened recently, or the hunter has been farting around in Hallownest for a long ass time. We have no idea what these creatures were trying to do. It's implied that the collector was trying to preserve the creatures of Hallownest, perhaps trying to protect them from the spread of the infection, but we don't know where the collector's obsession with grubs originated, and while Lurian does seem connected to all of this, we don't know how involved he was with this operation, or what its end goal exactly was. Modomon the teacher lived in the teacher's archives, a library built atop a lake of acid in the Fog Canyon. The lower half of her body consists of tentacles, making her a popular subject for the thriving Hollow Knight R34 community. The archives and the Fog Canyon as a whole are also filled with these strange Metroid knockoffs. These creatures are likely related to Monomon in some way. They could be her live offspring, her test tube babies, or possibly even her shit. Modomon uses futuristic cathode ray tube things to store information about Hallownest. Several terminals in the teacher's archive go into detail about the Pale King's plan to defeat the Radiants, indicating that Modomon had intimate knowledge of what she was taking part in. Finally, the Pale King sought the help of Hera the Beast, the Queen of Deepnest.
You can downslash to it, can I?
Now, as I mentioned earlier, relations between Hallownest and Deepnest were kinda...
For some reason, I thought I'd need an ability for that.
Unlike the other two dreamers, Hera needed to be convinced in order to help the Pale King. Hera would eventually agree to become a dreamer, in exchange for a child. The Pale King agreed, and the two engaged in a dalliance, which is a fancy way of saying they totally boned.
Yeah.
The White Lady was okay with this arrangement. In fact, she might have been watching from the closet. The motive behind Hera's request is
purely,
never
that's a theory,
elaborated
though.
on,
That's a theory.
but it appears as though the King of Deepnest was dead at this point. Hera was a common bug, so perhaps she desired the Pale King's pale seed so that her child could be of high birth. The bargain between Hera and the Pale King resulted in the birth of Hornet. She became known as the gendered child because unlike the Pale King's other children, perhaps she desired the King of Deepnest was dead at this point. Hera was a common bug, so perhaps she desired the Pale King's pale seed so that her child could be of high birth. The bargain between Hera and the Pale King resulted in the birth of Hornet. She became known as the gendered child because unlike the Pale King's other children...
Wait, so wait. She's a daughter, like a descendant of the Pale King himself.
Hornet was not hollowed out by the Abyss. Hera and Hornet spent little time together, as Hera had to make good on her end of the bargain. And so the three...
And Hera's Hornet's mum?
Dreamers were put to rest.
Hornet is half worm, half spider. Right, so she's a half sister. Is she aware she's our half sister or no? Because it didn't seem that way, the way she was going for me.
Through their actions, a seal was placed over the black egg, prohibiting entrance into the chamber. These dreamers also had their own protection. At the base of Lurian's spire, the Watcher Knights guarded access to their master's body. Modomon's body was protected by a giant jellyfish named Umu. On top of this, Modomon entrusted her servant Quirrell with a mask which would be required to break an additional seal she had placed over herself. So she basically is double wrapping herself. As for Hera, we're not really sure what protected her, since it is never actually seen in-game. We don't know where this creature is hiding, but whoever it is, they really suck at their job. Now there appears to be one more element to the Pale King's plan, involving the Weavers. Hidden away in the Weaver's Den is an incomplete seal of binding, woven from silk. This design prominently features the Hollow Knight's head, and can be found in the White Palace, as well as blocking the exit during the Hollow Knight fight. Silk spools created by the Weavers can be found in the Stag Station in Deepnest, as well as the Stag Station next to the White Palace.
I was trying to take those words and it was in one ear out the other.
So she basically beat her body at the base of to rest, as it became known as the gendered child, because unlike the Pale King's other children, Hornet was not hollowed out by the Abyss. Hera and Hornet spent little time together, as Hera had to make good on her end of the bargain. And so the three dreamers were put to rest. Through their actions, a seal was placed over the black egg, prohibiting entrance into the chamber. These streamers also had their own protection. At the base of Lurian's spire, the Watcher Knights guarded access to their master's body. Motomon's body was protected by a giant jellyfish named Umu. On top of this, Motomon entrusted her servant Quirrell with a mask which would be required to break
This
an
isn't going in,
additional
chat.
seal.
These words aren't sinking into my head.
She'd
Hold
put
on.
her side of the wardens. A seal was placed over the black egg,
So there was a seal on the black egg with the 3 dreamers.
prohibiting entrance into the chamber.
Yeah.
These streamers also had their own protection. At the base of Lurian's spire, the Watcher Knights guarded access to their master's body.
Okay.
Motomon's body was protected by a giant jellyfish named Umu.
Okay.
On top of this, Motomon entrusted her servant Quirrell with a mask which would be required to break an additional seal she had placed over herself.
Okay.
So she basically is double wrapping herself. As for Hera, we're not really sure what protected her, since it is never actually seen in-game. We don't know where this creature is hiding, but whoever it is, they really suck at their job. Now there appears to be one more element to the Pale King's plan, involving the Weavers. Hidden away in the Weaver's Den is an incomplete seal of binding, woven from silk. This design prominently features the Hollow Knight's head, and can be found in the White Palace, as well as blocking the exit during the Hollow Knight fight. Silk spools created by the Weavers can be found in the Stag Station in Deepnest, as well as the Stag Station next to the White Palace.
Okay.
These spools can also be found in the Pale King's workshop. We know that the Weavers were closely tied to Hera and Hornet,
Oh, I need to
so their actions
downstrike
might have been a
to do
part of the
this.
deal between the Pale
do.
King and Hera.
I don't have that yet.
Once the Hollow Knight was ready, the Radiance was somehow channeled into the vessel,
Hold on.
which was then placed
Hold on,
inside
because the radiance is back all of a sudden.
of its regular King, as well as the Stag Station next to the White Palace. These spools can also be found in the Pale King's workshop. We know that the Weavers were closely tied to Hera and Hornet, so their actions might have been a part of the deal between the Pale King and Hera.
Okay.
Once the Hollow Knight was ready, the Radiance was somehow channeled into the vessel, which was then placed inside of a giant black egg located in the Forgotten Crossroads. This egg was built to sustain the Hollow Knight, and itself appears to be fashioned from void. The Hollow Knight was chained up, and the entrance to the black egg was locked behind a powerful seal created by the 3 Dreamers. Initially, this convoluted plan actually worked, and the infection was successfully contained. Memorials to the Hollow Knight and the Dreamers were erected in the City of Tears and the Resting Grounds. But this is the part of the story where things get a little bit hazy. By the time these statues were constructed, citizens had taken to writing on parchment woven from spider silk, which was all destroyed
Oh,
when water started
black egg.
pouring down onto the city. We don't know how long the Hollow Knight was able to completely contain the infection. Bugs from Dirtmouth used to go to the Temple of the Black Egg to pray, saying they felt at peace within the walls.
How weird is it that,
But
like...
after a while, they stopped going.
we literally just got this pan here when I've walked into the same room. That's funny.
Action was successfully contained. Memorials to the Hollow Knight and the Dreamers were erected in the City of Tears and the Resting Grounds. But this is the part of the story where things get a little bit hazy.
I'm back at
By the
Dirtmouth.
time these statues were constructed,
Oops.
citizens had taken to writing on parchment woven from spider silk, which was all destroyed when water started pouring down onto the city. We don't know how long the Hollow Knight was able to completely contain the infection. Bugs from Dirtmouth used to go to the Temple of the Black Egg to pray, saying they felt at peace within the walls. But after a while, they stopped going, perhaps indicating that the infection was beginning to leak out again. The infectious air continued to seep through Hallownest for years,
Okay.
eventually even reaching the deepest parts of the kingdom. As it turns out, the Pale King's pure vessel wasn't quite so pure after all.
Oh.
The Hollow Knight had been tarnished by an idea instilled. While the game never explicitly tells us what that idea was, it does hint strongly at what it might be. Hidden away in the White Palace is a memory showing the Hollow Knight and the Pale King sharing a moment. The Hollow Knight might have developed a parental bond to the Pale King, and who could blame it? The Pale King is a pretty great dad after all. You know, if you ignore the infanticide and everything. Remember those smug mushroom dickheads? Well, it turns out their trust in the Pale King was a complete mistake. That shared mind isn't looking too good now, is it? In the fungal core, the corpse of a giant mushroom lies dormant. Its final thoughts were, "Pale worm, what good to see a demise unavoidable?" This could imply that the Pale King always knew that his kingdom was doomed. All he could do was delay the inevitable. This is likely the moment when Hallownest, as it once was, entirely collapsed. the Hollow Knight had not completely stopped the infection, and while it may have taken a while, Hallownest was eventually brought low. It's at this point that characters and areas begin to resemble as we know them in-game. When it became clear that the Hollow Knight was not able to contain the Radiance, the Pale King resorted to his final plan. He fucked off, hiding himself, his White Palace, and his Pale Court in the Dream World. At this point, all of the furniture in the palace was covered under white sheets, similar to how people in the real world cover their furniture while away on long trips. The palace was also completely covered with thorns and buzzsaws, similar to how people in the real world cover their houses with thorns and buzzsaws.
True.
The Pale King would eventually pass away while sitting on his throne in the White Palace. There's no confirmation on what killed him, but there are a few things to consider. The throne room is incredibly dark compared to the rest of the palace, and the particle effects and ambient track in this room are identical to that of the Abyss. All of the king's molds surrounding the Pale King are dead. The ancient basin itself also has become stained with the presence of void, as it can be seen as high as the rundown elevator shaft leading back to the city. Remember that bug that was sealed away in the Abyss to make sure the lighthouse wasn't turned off? Well, the lighthouse was turned off.
Fuck.
I guess that whole living with purpose thing is a crock of shit after all. It seems as though the Sea of Void itself actually convinced this bug to betray his king and turn off the lighthouse. Now I know what you're thinking. Exactly how conscious is the Void? Is the Void able to think for itself? Can it form strategies? Does it host a podcast? Well, according to this Chozo statue ripoff, the Void is powerful, but not unified. So while it can thrash around at things that come near it, or call out in unison to turn off a light, it's not a single conscious being. Getting back to the Pale King, one could argue that the Void might have played a role in his ultimate demise, and I've argued that viewpoint in the past, but we have to remember that there isn't enough evidence to know for sure.
Weirdly empty
As an
room.
expert lawyer and a good friend of mine, Johnny Cochran, once said, "Any evidence that the Void was involved in the Pale King's death is circumstantial. My name is Johnny Cochran." Just above the White Palace, the bugs in the City of Tears weren't faring much better. Even if we ignore the fact that the infection was still around, there were other issues that helped lead to the city's downfall. Due to the gates being sealed, some bugs resorted to cannibalism in order to avoid starvation. And there's also that metric fuckton of corpses lining the walls of the Soul Sanctum. When all was said and done, the only citizen left standing is Eternal Emelita, who just laughs her ass off about it like she's a fucking Dark Souls character. The White Lady ends up in a cocoon deep within the Queen's gardens. She decided to place bindings on herself in order to keep her from spreading her seed. She claims that this is because of the shame she feels in helping the Pale King create the vessels, but honestly, it's probably just her kink. The White Lady also diminished her power, possibly as a way to keep herself hidden from unwanted visitors. Outside her cocoon, Drya stood guard, protecting her queen from the violent traitor mantises. Drya is eventually killed off by these bugs, which is actually pretty pathetic if you think about it. I mean, we're talking like the Netgear WPN824N
God's sake, with the router stuff.
N150 wireless router pathetic. Speaking of great knights dying pathetically, let's move on to Hagamel. Hagamel held the city crest, a key used to open one of the gates to the City of Tears. At some point, Hagamel's armor shell was stolen by a maggot. Now, maggots were generally looked down upon and forced to do menial labor. They were incredibly weak, and basically deserved all of the discrimination they got. But this one maggot decided to turn the tide, so he stole Hagamel's shell so that he could defend his downtrodden brothers. His actions weren't motivated by the infection, but instead was the result of how hierarchical caste systems will always lead to revolution from the working class, and that true freedom can only be achieved blah blah blah, capitalism is bad, subscribe to my Patreon.
Not paying attention
Ogre
to that
moved
bit.
to the royal
Rewind.
waterways. Is pathetic. Speaking of great knights dying pathetically, let's move on to Hagamel. Hagamel held the city crest, a key used to open one of the gates to the City of Tears. At some point, Hagamel's armor shell was stolen by a maggot. Now, maggots were generally looked down upon and forced to do menial labor. They were incredibly weak, and basically deserved all of the discrimination they got. But this one maggot decided to turn the tide, so he stole Hagamel's shell so that he could defend his downtrodden brothers. His actions weren't motivated by the infection, but instead was the result of how hierarchical caste systems will always lead to revolution from the working class, and that true freedom can only be achieved blah blah blah, capitalism is bad. Subscribe to my Patreon. Ogre moved to the Royal Waterways and started living in shit, changing his name to Dung Defender. Now I love wallowing in shit as much as the next guy, but you'd have to really love shit to put up with living with the flukes. The Dung Defender kept an unwavering sense of duty and loyalty to the king, and love for his fellow knights. So much so that he made shit statues of them. How nice. Ogrim acted as the defender of the pipeways, as well as Isma's Grove. A section of the Royal Waterways became filled with acid, and in the middle of it all rests Isma's corpse, which has been overcome by plant life. Isma is likely the one responsible for this acid blight, but we have no idea what happened.
I've zoned out a little bit as well. Give me a second, chat.
Hornet's whereabouts during this time are fairly mysterious. We know that she departed Deepnest and didn't return until the events of the game. At some point, she took to guarding Hallownest from intruding warriors, as well as the cast-off shell in the Kingdom's Edge. Despite the Kingdom's woes at large, fortunately this fate did not befall one of the fandom's favorite characters. The Menderbugs continued to fix the broken signs and wayposts of Hallownest. From a diary entry, we can see that one Menderbug in particular had found himself on the precipice of a long
rewind,
and we can unfortunately the acid blight been overcome by plant acid, and in the middle of it all, king and love flew shitted living. Subscribe to my Patreon.
Okay, from here.
Ogre moved to the Royal Waterways and started living in shit, changing his name to Dung Defender. Now I love wallowing in shit as much as the next guy, but you'd have to really love shit to put up with living with the flukes. The Dung Defender kept an unwavering sense of duty and loyalty to the king, and love for his fellow knights. So much so that he made shit statues of them. How nice. Ogrim acted as the defender of the pipeways, as well as Isma's Grove. A section of the Royal Waterways became filled with acid, and in the middle of it all rests Isma's corpse, which has been overcome by plant life. Isma is likely the one responsible for this acid blight, but we have no idea what happened to her. Hornet's whereabouts during this time are fairly mysterious. We know that she departed Deepnest and didn't return until the events of the game. At some point, she took to guarding Hallownest from intruding warriors, as well as the cast-off shell in the Kingdom's Edge. Despite the Kingdom's woes at large, fortunately this fate did not befall one of the fandom's favorite characters. The Menderbugs continued to fix the broken signs and wayposts of Hallownest. From a diary entry, we can see that one Menderbug in particular had found himself on the precipice of a long and loving relationship.
Hello again, diary. Not long now until the next Minder Bash. For us stealthy types, we're a riotous bunch when we get together, and Minderberry kept flashing me that smile. It might be time to muster my courage and act on it. I love my home and my life, but sharing it with another? Why, that'd be the berry on top.
Greenpath also underwent some changes during this time. The Mosskin were waiting for Un's call, which would bring them back into the dream they were originally born from. But for some reason, Un's strength deteriorated. We don't know why this happened exactly. Was it due to the White Lady claiming part of her kingdom? Was it somehow due to the infection? Some Mosskin believe that Un went into hiding, but it appears as though Un is, in fact, calling to her children. But many of the Mosskin are unable to hear her call. Instead, many Mosskin seem to have taken the Radiance's infection into their leaves, which might explain why Greenpath became overgrown with vegetation despite Un's deteriorating powers. Mossy vagabonds even openly chose to forsake Un and worship the Radiance. Another tribe to be screwed over by the Radiance is the Hive, which fell to the infection after the death of their leader, Hive Queen Vespa. But it appears as though this had little effect on their civilization. The Radiance's hive mind was already familiar to the bees, since the hive probably operated under something similar already. So in other words, the hive probably made out the best in this whole situation. Let's turn our attention back to the moths. After all, it's their god that keeps killing everybody.
True.
Well, the moth tribe didn't fare too well actually, as pretty much the entire tribe died out. The only known survivor is the seer. Despite the loss of her tribe, the seer continued to tend to the graves in the resting grounds, while also waiting the arrival of the wielder, a mysterious being that her tribe has dreamt of for a while. In the Kingdom's Edge, the land became covered in ash molting off of the worm's decomposing corpse. The Colosseum of Fools continued to thrive. The Lord Fool passed away at some point, but nobody really seems to notice or even care. The fools inside the Colosseum were infected, but still seemed to have maintained control over themselves. It seems possible that these bugs took in the infection willingly, similar to the Traitor Lord and his followers. This would have given them an edge in combat, similar to using steroids, but without the whole shrinking testicles thing. However, even the Traitor Lord and his followers went mad, so what makes these fools any more special? As for the Pale King's champion, the Pale Lurker, well, she just went the normal kind of insane. There appears to have been another unforeseen event with the Pale King's plan. When the Hollow Knight was originally chosen, the door to the Abyss was sealed, trapping the discarded vessels within. But apparently, some vessels didn't get the memo. Vessel corpses can be found littered throughout the kingdom. There's one in the Ancient Basin, one in Greenpath, and several trapped in Nosk's lair in Deepnest. Another vessel that escaped from the Abyss is the player character, the
Don't know where I
Knight.
am.
The exact details on how the vessels escaped the Abyss is unclear. There are indications that they might have slipped into Deepnest through some old passageway,
I have no idea
given
where I am.
void influences in part of the area, and all the corpses found in Nosk's lair. At some point, all entrances to Hallownest were closed off, with the old well and Earthmouth being the only way to sneak back in. Despite this, several people have wormed their way into the kingdom, with few ever returning. Characters like Relic Seeker Lem seemed content to just pillage artifacts from the ruined kingdom, but other bugs seemed interested in something greater. In the Howling Cliffs rests the corpse of a member of the Grim Troop. The task of this bug appears to have been to seek out Hallownest, so that the troop might be summoned to the kingdom in the future. The Grim Troop are basically a group of bugs that serve a higher being known as the Nightmare Heart. The troop keeps the heart alive by feeding on the nightmares of fallen kingdoms. This process also involves sacrificing the troop master to his own child because...
reasons.
Hey, look at this cool ass boss battle. Another important group that traveled to Hallownest are the God Seekers. After being abandoned by their old gods, the gods of thunder and the gods of rain, these bugs left their home in the land of storms, seeking out a new god to worship. The God Seekers looked to gods to save them from their own silent mind. While traveling through the wastelands, the God Seekers constructed devices called God Tuners, which helped them seek out new gods. Through this device, they were able to detect the lingering power of the Pale King and find their way to Hallownest. When they arrived, however, the God Seeker was forced into hibernation. She was encased in a strange sarcophagus-like cocoon, which was itself chained up with a lock. It's not clear how this forced hibernation worked, seeing as the cocoon appears to have been made by the God Seeker herself. As for who put the cocoon in chains, I think the most likely candidate is the Dung Defender, considering how the God Seeker's cocoon is found in the junk pit in the waterways, an area the Dung Defender has tasked himself with protecting. This was the general picture of Hallownest after the Hollow Knight was sealed inside the Temple of the Black Egg. The kingdom was stuck in a kind of stasis, with the Pale King civilization destroyed and the Radiance unable to break free from her chains. The Pale King was rebelling against nature, trying to keep his work standing indefinitely.
Oh my god, Jesus.
The stasis over Hallownest held for an age. How long is that exactly? Well, we have no idea.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you've noticed, there really isn't a timeline for anything that happens in this game. We also have no idea how long any of these bugs can actually live. Elderbug wasn't around to see the Stagways open, but we know several other characters were, implying that Elderbug is probably one of the youngest characters in the whole game. But this stasis over Hallownest wasn't going to last forever. At some point, the Radiance erupted out of the Hollow Knight, cracking its shell and releasing a loud and powerful roar. The amount of infection leaking out of the Hollow Knight became even greater. The many corpses that lined the roads and cities of the kingdom sprang to life with the amplified power of the infection. This strengthened infection prompted the departure of the Weavers back to their old home. Now this old home might actually be Farloom, the kingdom in which Hollow Knight Silksong takes place. But the amount of knowledge we have about Silksong right now is pathetic, so I'm not saying that's confirmed or anything. This is also around the time that Quirrell arrives back in Hallownest. His memory of Motomon appears to have been clouded due to his time outside of Hallownest. These events are depicted in the Quirrell prequel comic, which also shows an image of the Hollow Knight with a pre-cracked shell. This could mean that Quirrell's arrival happens roughly the same time the Hollow Knight's shell cracks. At around the same time Quirrell arrives in Hallownest, we also see the arrival of the player character, who is commonly referred to as the Knight. The Knight was one of the lucky vessels that was able to make its way out of the Abyss. Somehow the Knight ended up venturing beyond Hallownest and into the wilds beyond. It's implied that the Knight was called to Hallownest by either the sealed Hollow Knight or the Radiants within. Regardless, once the Knight shows up and yeets itself off this cliff, the actual game of Hollow Knight finally begins.
Why, man? I'm just gonna try it. I might
there's
die.
a lot of details we could get into. Hallownest is full of NPCs and bosses, each with their own stories to tell. But to be honest, I don't think we need to go through all of them, since their stories are relatively straightforward. For example, let's look at the Brooding Moloch. So why is the Brooding Moloch brooding? Because all its friends are dead.
Oh, it's a dead end.
And there you go. That's the lore for the Brooding Moloch. Also, it's the only character in the game with a visible asshole. Now, did you really need me to explain that to you? Probably not. So instead, I'm just going to talk about the interactions relating to Hollow Knight's main story. The Knight is eventually noticed by Hornet, who lures it deep into Greenpath. There, Hornet attempts to kill the Knight, claiming that she knows what it would try to do. At this point, Hornet views the Knight as being too weak. After the fight, Hornet can be found in the City of Tears, next to the statue of the Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Hornet mentions that the Knight has gained a resilience, due to the time it spent in the void beyond Hallownest. This could be referring to the fact that some of those who leave Hallownest lose their memories, meaning the Knight would have no memories of its own tragic conception. Hornet tells the Knight that if it seeks to continue the stasis that keeps Hallownest standing, it must seek the Graven Ash, which is referring to the Kingdom's Edge. At this moment, Hornet sees the Knight as a possible replacement for the Hollow Knight. Basically, the Knight could break the seals that keep the Hollow Knight locked away, defeat the Hollow Knight,
I knew it was coming.
and contain the infection itself.
I knew it was coming.
It's at this point that I should mention that Hollow Knight actually has 5 different endings, because of course it would. I'm going to be explaining each of these endings in this video, as they each give us a different glimpse into the mechanics of Hollow Knight's world.
I just leave
the
it? I might
easiest
just
ending
leave
to
it.
Hollow Knight, Hornet's instructions to go to the Kingdom's
Did I have
Edge
that much
can
money?
be ignored
I don't know if I
completely.
did.
If the Knight stumbles upon the resting grounds, the 3 Dreamers will appear and cast the Knight into the Dream Realm. There, Seer will come to the Knight's rescue and grant it the Dream Nail, a special blade that can tear the veil between the real world and the dream world.
Oh, is it
With
5
the Dream
to
Nail,
600?
the Knight can venture to the resting
fair
places
bit.
of the 3 Dreamers, curb stomp their asses, and unlock
Fine.
the entrance
I'll
to
go
the
get it.
Black Egg. Inside the egg, the Knight finds the Hollow Knight chained up, silently watching over it.
Oh,
Once the chains are broken, the Hollow Knight screams with that familiar Radiance roar and pursues the Knight. As the fight progresses, the Hollow Knight starts trying to kill itself, Coral style. But then the Radiance starts using the Hollow Knight's body to perform her own attacks. Once defeated, the Hollow Knight begins to spew infection all over the place. The Knight can then focus the infection into itself. This results in the first ending of the game, called Hollow Knight.
so that's the
In
ending
this
I've
ending,
done. I
the
do
Knight
recognise
usurps
it
the
now. I
Hollow
see it.
Knight, prolonging the stasis over Hallownest. New chains and bindings appear out of fuck if I know, and contain the Knight, and a new seal is placed over the entrance to the Black Egg. Now there is one giant question looming over this ending. Can the Knight actually contain the infection indefinitely, or will the Radiant still manage to break free one day? Before we answer this question, let's look at some of the other events that can transpire while playing the game. If the player chooses to go to Kingdom's Edge, Hornet will challenge the Knight one last time, as a final test of strength. After her defeat, Hornet allows the Knight to access the cast-off shell, where the Pale King was originally hatched.
Oh.
By interacting with this egg, the Knight's shell is marked with the King's brand, technically making the Knight the new ruler of Hallownest. With the King's brand, the Knight can now open the entrance to the Abyss and discover the place of its birth. When leaving the Abyss, the Knight can encounter Hornet again, where for the first time, Hornet suggests that there are actually 2 outcomes the Knight can enact. She tells the Knight that it can either prolong Hallownest stasis, or face the heart of the Kingdom's infection. Within the Knight, Hornet sees a chance for change. Instead of just replacing the Hollow Knight, Hornet believes that it may be possible to get rid of the infection completely by using the void inside of the Knight. After visiting the Abyss and obtaining the Shade Cloak, the Knight is capable of reaching the White Lady, hidden away in the Queen's Gardens. The White Lady tells the Knight that she has been awaiting a vessel to accept a gift, that gift being one half of a charm called the King Soul, which she claims will give the Knight more power. The White Lady goes on to explain that she can feel the weakening of the Hollow Knight within her roots. She tells the Knight that it is free of the blemishes that made the Hollow Knight a flawed vessel. From this dialogue, it is implied that the Knight truly is a pure vessel, capable of containing the Radiant successfully. But it's not quite that simple, so we're gonna have to dig a bit deeper into this. Basically, we're gonna need to answer a simple question. What exactly does it mean to be a Hollow Knight? Despite the White Lady's words, we have a number of instances where the characters and item descriptions mention that the knight has a will, and maybe even a mind. But from the Pale King's dialogue when describing the Hollow Knight, it is stated that a pure vessel has no mind or will. So is the White Lady wrong? Or maybe even lying? Her eyes have been clouded by time, and she can be tricked into thinking that Ogrim is in the room when the knight is wearing the Defender's Crest charm. She also thinks that Dryia is still alive, which, So maybe the White Lady is just senile. My problem with that theory is that the White Lady states that the vessels stand out to her clearly in a misted world, due to them being her spawn. She also questions whether or not the knight sought her aid, which would imply that the knight must have some kind of will. So for whatever reason, the White Lady thinks the knight is still capable of containing the radiance, even if it's still able to make decisions. After all, the Hollow Knight was considered pure, but they still taught it how to wield a fucking sword. I mean, if the knight were truly and completely hollow in a literal sense, it probably shouldn't even be able to walk, or draw a map, or open a goddamn bank account. In short, this whole concept of being hollow is so abstract and hard to define, I don't really feel comfortable giving a solid answer on whether or not the knight is or isn't truly hollow, and I think the game leaves room open for other interpretations. Of course, the White Lady's gift is useless without the other half of the King's Soul. In order to reach it, however, the knight must travel to the White Palace, locked inside the body of a King's Mold. In order to bypass the seal, the knight must use a fully awakened Dream Nail. It can do this by bringing 1800 essence to the seer, allowing her to sharpen the weapon's blade. If the knight does this, the seer remarks that the knight truly is the wielder that her tribe has been dreaming of. There's no explicit reason why the Moth tribe was dreaming about this supposed wielder so much, but it seems like they believe the wielder would wash away the crimes the Moth tribe committed by turning their backs on the Radiance. The seer seems to know that the knight might—
They're just looking for a get out of jail free card, aren't they? That's mad.
kill the Radiance, and she seems accepting of it, ready for her and her tribe to disappear and be forgotten forever. With the awoken Dream Nail in hand, the knight can travel to the Pale King's refuge and locate the other half of the King's Soul charm.
Oh, okay.
When equipped, the King's Soul provides a never-ending supply of soul, making it almost useful if it weren't for the insanely high cost of the charm, and the painfully slow rate at which it increases, and the fact that the charm will get replaced in about 5 minutes after you get it. The King's Soul charm itself symbolizes the union between two higher beings. To me, this implies that the King's Soul is a representation of a vessel, which also was created by the union of two higher beings.
Okay.
With the King's Soul in their inventory, the knight now gains access to an area in the abyss called the Birthplace. In this—
Ooh, I don't know if I want to go any further than that, because I feel like I'm sinking my teeth into this at the minute. I might even pause it there. I don't know. I feel like we've already seen quite a lot, but it's not wildly beyond what I've already seen. That video is great though. I've got so much more context on the story now, and it makes a lot more sense. Have they said whether it's actually going to be a continuation, prequel, sequel, happening in tandem? Like, have they said anything like that? Also, I'm currently still trying to get back to my death spot, which is not that far away, actually. We are closer than I thought we were. Yeah, for Silksong, yeah. It is a sequel. Okay, cool. Where am I? Was it that way I was going? Only way to defeat and stop the Radiance is if we beat her. So do you reckon that will be the premise of Silksong then, is kind of rounding out that conflict? Because is the Radiance still present at the end of all of this, like at the end of the first game? Oh, I hear it. Where my body at? Was I really this close to getting back? Oh my god, I was as well. Come on. Oh god. Oh, come on. How does that work? Okay, that works fine apparently. Oh god. Sure, we'll take the money. The question, that question you asked is a good sign that you stopped the video. Oh, okay. Good. Whoa, gosh. What am I doing here? Can I go across here now that I've got the dash? Does that give me access to anything new? No, it doesn't, does it? Because that's where I was just trying to get away from. I just came this way and was like, oh, I can't do anything here. Is there not a quicker way out of here? Oh, I was really hoping there was. Alright, hold on. Let's try and jump back out of here real quick. Can I get back to solid ground, somewhere safe? Ooh, boy, boy, boy. Suppose go down from here? Can I go down from this room? Next room. Or is it just I don't have the map yet for the next area? Because that's where I came from, right? That was close. Nearly died. Wait. I feel like when I came into this area last time, I was actually using that guy crawling across the water to get there. Yeah, so I don't have the map for this area. Do you reckon I can buy the map from town now that I've got the train here, or no? I've already done that room, haven't I? Bit like Green Path. Let's see. Okay, not bad. I think you need to find the map guy first. Okay, fair. I just want to stand somewhere familiar so I can close it out here. Ooh, close. Not a terrible descent. Ooh, ooh. What was through this way again? Was this the bank? The thing with the bank is it's so hard to get to. I mean, I suppose as soon as you find a train station, you can get there. Nothing that way. We'll go check. Oh, who are you again? Sorry. Built at the border between two lands, the Misty Drop to one side and the Bulbous Growth to another. Neither place seems particularly welcoming to my little treats last. I think I'll stay right here. Nice. Let's go to Dirtmouth real quick. Just want to check the shop before I leave. It's been nice though. It's been good having the lore dump and picking up the game again. I feel like I've done this in a slightly different order than before, because I feel like when I did my previous playthroughs, even when I played it just on the Switch recently, I felt like I went to yeah, the map's not here. Never mind. I feel like I went to the what's it called? The city a lot sooner. I want to travel back to Queen Station. There should be a new shop in Dirtmouth. Well, I was going to go and buy another notch. I feel like that's worthwhile, right? Which way is it? The shop was down there. Where am I right now? Oh, have I not got the compass on? Oh, that doesn't help, does it? Or do I? Oh, no, I do. Wait, I'm down here. Oh, wait, what? Oh, no, that's where I've just come from. I'm stupid. I'm at the wrong one. Oh, wrong way. I think I thought I was going to the crossroads. Got the names mixed up. Nice. So we want to go just down and then across. Sweet. I'm curious though, with this path down here. Am I now able to go somewhere I couldn't before? Let's have a quick look, see if the ability that I've got lets me go any further now. No, that's blocked off to me. Never mind. Thank you. Take that money. Oh, whoops. Boink. Let's go in here. Let's buy another notch. Or was there another one? Was it? Oh, was it long nail? I think I was tempted by long nail before. Oh, it's 500 for that. Oh, once you own 10 charms, I'll gladly sell it to you. You need 5 more. I might as well buy a long nail then. Why not? Sure. I'll buy a long nail. Sod it. What have I got? So I've got compass and... So I could do... I suppose I could always take that off. Is that a crazy combo? Shaman, stone and long nail? I guess I do quite like being able to see where I'm supposed to be on the map, though, is the only thing. Unless I just go on like a money grind. You know what I mean? Try and get myself a bunch of... just a bunch of random charms, even if I don't plan on necessarily using them, just to get the notches up. So I can't use that train just yet. Let me get back to the other train station. Is this the way I came for this train station? Oh no. I can't remember if it was. How experienced are you with the game? On like the first run, I would leave the compass in otherwise. This is, I mean, I have technically played it before, but I think I've forgotten a lot of it. I'll be real.
Stream could always use more subscribers.
Yeah, I've forgotten a fair whack of it. It seems based on my other save file that I have actually gotten like the first credits thing. Like I fought the Hollow Knight and won. But I don't really remember doing that. So yeah, my lay of the land isn't that strong. Maybe we'll not have long nail for now. Let's take that off. We'll go for that. Have we got any other wands? Steady body. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. We'll take a steady body. Why not? Okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll play some more tomorrow, chat. What do you think? I'm trying to think of where I go to from here. Like, is it maybe like there? Do I go there next? Or am I going down this way? Or am I going that way? I'm not entirely sure where I'm going. Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to stick with this. You know what I mean? Maybe it'd be nice to play through it again. Alright. Well, bam. There we go. All done. Thanks for watching, everybody. Much appreciated. Let's go find somebody to raid, shall we? Although saying that, I'm not going to be live tomorrow, am I? I'm not going to be live for the next few days. We've got busy times, IRL, and offline. So I will see you when I see you. I might even just play Hollow Knight in my own time, just for the fun of it, to be honest. Right, let's find somebody to raid, shall we? Let's see. Keep an eye out tomorrow for a brand new Past Life episode. Just as a heads up, there is not a members video this week. It is only going to be like the public upload, so I don't want people tagging me going, you've not set the members one live. It just doesn't exist, all right? It'll be all good. Let's go and raid. Who are we going to raid? Who's it gonna be? Why don't we raid Gracie? Let's go raid Gracie. because I was actually just looking through the Daggerheart rules today and trying to brush myself up on the quick start adventure so that I can get that running for those guys. So we're going to be doing that, I think, at some point next week. So we're going to do a session 0 where we make our characters, we chat about some of the rules and figure out what people want from gameplay. And then, yeah, then we're going to basically play the quick start adventure. And then maybe we can knock out a little one-shot sometime in September as well, which would be pretty cool. So if you've never played Daggerheart, it's basically a tabletop RPG. It's from the Crit Roll guys. So it's basically, if you're into D&D, it's a very similar kind of system. And we'll all be learning for the first time. So perfect entry point for anybody wanting to learn. But anyway, aside from that, have a great one. And I'll see you in a couple of days. Bye-bye.